Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latiners Network, ready to talk about all the shows, movies, etc. that get released on streaming, give you our best recommendations, and of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming up. So you too can create your very own watch list. Not a big week, but what it is, what it is. This is the Call Me for the Storm. Got some big things at the end coming up next week. I'm excited about. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But of course, let me introduce Senor Jaime, aka Chewy, a lovely, lovely co-host. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
What's up, brother? What's going on, man?
I know you're very excited about all the happenings at Comic Con going on
Yeah.
this year.
My
Everybody's
God.
bailing. No one wants to go to Comic Con. It's just going to be you by
Nobody wants to
yourself.
go to something, man.
It's gonna be
Jeez
you and a select
Louise.
few nerds out there doing nothing. Uh, Apparently, Comic Con. No one wants to go to Comic Con.
Ah, what a jip.
That wouldn't happen if it was in Vegas. Just saying.
Amazon's gonna be there, so
Who?
Amazon, dude. Come on. Don't
Oh,
say
Amazon.
who.
Okay, no, I didn't hear. Okay, okay,
Ah,
gotcha.
okay.
No. Respect to Amazon, of course, but well, maybe have something on the boys. I don't know.
Well, the
Excuse me.
badge has the next show, the Gen V, so
Right.
maybe,
Yeah, maybe something on
probably.
that.
Who knows?
What a shame. There's always next year. But that being said, I do have. Well, I'll say I do got a bone to pick. I'm gonna save it to the end of the show because it's related to
There we go.
it's related to something that we'll talk about at the end of the show. But yeah, it's
All right.
an egregious act,
Oh God.
which I'll hang on to that nugget
All
too.
right.
I'm just
All
saying,
right.
but it's a legitimate gripe. It's a legitimate gripe. Okay,
Yeah, dude.
and
I
you
don't know,
you will
dude.
agree, and you will agree with me. I'm telling you.
You gripe about a lot of things, dude.
I
So
understand, but this is as legit gripe as you can get. I'm just saying, dude. But that being said, uh, let's get into it. Not a big week, dude, at all. Not a
not
great,
really, man.
yeah, not a great week either. To be honest with you, it's probably one of the weaker weeks. A little tongue twister. In a while. But whatever. Again, the calm before the storm. It all got started with Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, their newest show, of course. Samuel Jackson reprising his Nick Fury role, of course, the Avengers, etc. It's kind of a spy thriller with, of course, those who are familiar with the MCU, with the scrolls, the shape-shifting aliens, or whatever. I think featured in Captain Marvel, if I'm not mistaken, the
Correct.
movie.
Captain
Um,
Marvel and a little bit in Far From Home.
right, I think towards the end, like the end credits or whatever. Either way. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're getting their shot here. They only released one episode. That's not usually their end
Well,
long sometimes.
it's only 6 episodes, so
26, yeah, it's a short limited series. So I'll let you go first. I have my thoughts on Nurse Planning, the other show we do here, buddy.
I heard your thoughts. I heard your complaints.
I didn't
Yours
have that many
and
complaints.
the
It was
Silver's
really,
complaints, dude.
he had more complaints than I did, which surprised me.
Well, probably, yeah,
I thought he, I enjoyed it more than he did for the most part.
yeah. I'm
But yeah,
sure
go
if I had her Star Wars label, he'd be like, "Oh, it's the best show ever."
So what are your thoughts on that? Is this a great show or just your typical status quo for MCU stuff?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know status quo as far as quality or status quo as far as
Quality,
storytelling.
quality,
Okay. Um,
or lack thereof, I guess depends who you ask.
no, I mean, I actually enjoyed it because it's it's different. I mean, there isn't. It's not a. I don't want to say I don't think it's a superhero show, right? Where everything was we had the
Sure.
introduction of Miss Marvel, right? Or Loki, or WandaVision, and Winter Soldier, Captain Winter Soldier, and whatnot. So this is not focused on any one of the heroes. So right off the bat, it's gonna be different, right? This is probably more feel and flavor of Winter Soldier than any of the other movies or TV shows. I enjoyed it actually. I enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the story. I'm not familiar with the comics, so that's probably a good thing. I mean, if people know the comics and story, maybe they have some bigger issues, and I think maybe that's where this was coming from, because he's obviously a comic nerd to the 10th degree, and so he knows every iteration of and variation of Secret Wars and Other Wars and Civil Wars and so on and so forth. So, um, but I enjoyed what I saw. Again, only one episode, right? But I mean, lots of good pacing, good twists and turns. It was long, from a typical show. I think this was like 50 minutes and
Yeah.
55, but 50 if you take out the credits, right? And it kind of right off the bat lays out, it's not, and the theme is, is who can you trust, or who do you believe, right? I think that's that story that they're trying to tell here. And the death, I know you guys picked on that death at the end, for whatever reason. I still don't understand, you know. I, I mean, she's not Iron Man, so no one deserves a way out, right? It happens. It happens. The fact that we got one is probably a good thing, because most shows we go to any, to be quite honest, right? Very few in the 10 plus years of MCU
If this
history.
character is actually dead,
She is.
it's fair
She
to
is.
put that out there. It's fair to put that out there.
She is. I mean, spoiler. She is.
It could very well be.
It's been put out there. It's not a scroll. It's not a. She's not gonna change in the next episode. It's toast and toast. Put the butter in the fridge. It's gone. But like I said, I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping it doesn't taper off from here. I hope it builds on this and goes on the right trajectory.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, for me, it's status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Another whatever show from Marvel. It's fine, nothing great. Not gonna change the world. It is what it is. I expect more out of a show like this, and it just kind of gives me the same. I don't know. It could get worse. It could get better. I know I did talk about the ratings on this were the lowest of any of the other TV shows that Marvel's brought.
I don't.
For whatever that's
Whatever.
worth, I'm just for whatever that's worth.
Look, as far as my critics, it's like what 63 on Rotten Tomatoes, 62, somewhere in the mid 60s, I believe. Let's
Yeah,
go to
and
mid
not
60s.
a great number. Particularly, I mean, they've enjoyed the other shows, which it kind of boggles my mind because I think
Yeah,
some of the
yeah,
shows
yeah. That's right. I don't
are
understand.
probably
You
worse.
can't please them. You get someone different, and they still
No,
bitch and
right.
complain. I'm like, I mean, come on, man.
No, but I
You
mean,
know,
it is what it is. It's there,
audience score is a little higher, 75. So
which is
I
still
guess
not great.
at the end of the day, it's who you please, the audience or the critic.
Yeah,
I hope you please me, not the critic, because I'm
it's
on the on.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. The part, it's fine. It's as far as you're right. It's not a superhero show, which is a problem for me because if you can do something, if Marvel doesn't do jump into the genre, then jump into and give me something different and unique in this genre. But it's status quo. If they didn't say Marvel on it and there was no aliens, really, it's a typical. We've seen this on Netflix 100 times. Shows you see that this kind of spy thriller. We see them all the time, which are okay. They're not bad, but
Mm-hmm.
okay. They put
Dom's
you
executed well. I mean, like I
actually
said,
right,
they're not
exactly.
trying to
But yeah,
reinvent
yeah.
the
I'm not
wheel.
gonna. No, like I said, it's fine, right? It's run of the mill. It's like any other show, right? Difference is they plot Marvel on them. You put Marvel at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, the expectations are going to change, right? Because you expect something more of that than some jack off who does a show on Netflix and it happens to be okay. Who cares, right? It's more of a surprise. Oh, it was kind of a good show.
Fubar,
Yeah, football is like, oh, all right, well, that's what you think. But either way, right?
which has been renewed for season 2.
Season two renewed exactly. People enjoy enjoy that show, but I mean, it gave it a little bit different dynamic with the father daughter thing in football, for example, right? So fine. Not that that's new, but it's something unique. But well, that's fine. I get it. It's okay. Hope it gets better. Whatever. These shows tend to taper off, historically speaking, right towards the end of the show. So I don't know if it's going to continue
We'll
that.
see. That's why
Right.
we'll see.
It's a
Let's
wait
see.
and see kind of thing, right, with
Yeah.
this show. But it is what it is. But another show I think is a better show, and that's The Bear. We'll talk about next real briefly on Hulu. Season 2 just started. I was still finishing season 1 because I jumped on the show very late. We both did,
Mm.
but you had already finished it, I think.
No, I finished it months ago, man. I don't know
Yeah,
where you've been. I
exactly.
don't know where you've been, dude.
Yeah, I just jumped on late. I was waiting, and I was like, okay, so I finally got on it, whatever the case is. But obviously the show revolving around a former high profile chef, but up and coming chef
Mm-hmm.
who takes over his brother's restaurant, whose brother who committed suicide, the Punisher. And
And that was a nice cameo in season
yeah,
one.
the little cameo. Yeah, it's a struggling restaurant, to say the least. Little kind of
Well, I
in
mean,
Chicago.
it's
It's
a
like a, it's like a
historical,
it's like a sandwich
struggling
shop.
financially, but
Yeah,
it has a long history in Chicago.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's an established place, but yeah, they're struggling
yes.
for other reasons. Again, the brother borrowed a bunch of money, and he owes
Mm,
God knows how much. They don't pay tax. It's a mess, right? The crew in there
yeah.
is all divide and conquer here.
Cousin, everyone is doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
A dysfunctional family at its core.
Exactly, and it's kind of a dramedy, but it's a really good show because it's very it looks real and it feels real. It feels like you're in a kind of like a shitty little restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like a
No,
fabulous
it's I
place.
mean it has
Very
a
gritty.
gritty
Yeah,
feel. it really examines the characters and the people as you know, it's like as a collection of individuals, but in a realistic way. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, the brother who takes over is and as in this season is going to therapy because everyone's still dealing with the trauma of the loss of the brother, right? And the mess he left behind,
Yeah.
and bringing the sister and the cousin who has his own issues, drug problems, family problems, whatnot. And the other chefs that are trying to bring and keep the family together per se, and trying to make this to work, right? And then bringing in a new chef who has grandiose ideas,
Yeah.
but you got to kind of work with what you have, right?
Yeah. She's a bit overzealous.
You can't run without walking first.
Love the gusto though.
Mm,
But it's good. It's a really good show. It's a really good
mm.
show. I can't speak to season
and,
two,
and
but
and
yeah.
we love we have an affinity for cooking shows, right? And this still has that's a big part of this element. Probably more so in season one. Season two is now dealing with trying to reinvent and bring together a bigger dream for this place, or what it should be or what it needs to be.
Right.
But season one, but they still experiment with flavors and going to different restaurants, and even they had little montages last episode, episode three, going to different chefs, different restaurants, and getting ideas and stuff. So, which is interesting, right? It's no Gordon Ramsay, it's no Master Chef or anything, but there's no beef Wellington, thank God, no risotto.
Damn scallops. Yeah, no, but it's a very good show.
Yes.
It's one of those shows that kind of flies under the radar.
Hmm.
But it's very good. And again, it's about 30-minute episodes, more or less.
Yes, at
Yeah,
most.
I think it
Yes.
episodes first season. The second season was it 8 to 10 again?
I didn't check. I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure.
eight.
Probably eight.
Yeah.
But it's a good show. Really well made show. It's really good. And like I said, I like that gritty feel to it. Just seems something real about it, right? The characters just seem real, like exactly who you would see somewhere. They're not actors pretending to be real. But it's really good. That's a really good show. The next one here, Sleeping Dog on Netflix. This one here is a crime thriller, I guess. We have
Oh,
a.
sorry, I fell asleep.
Oh, it's okay. No, I get it. A former cop. Well, he's a detective. Who's got going through some kind of PTSD or something on a case he was involved in. That I guess got kind of heavy, and the investigation gets brought in as like who they accused who's in jail committed suicide. So it kind of opened up the case again, discovering there was more there than they had no aware of, etc., etc. Yeah, this was kind of a dud for me. It really was. And
Yeah.
you're right. You mentioned you fell asleep. Yeah, I was bored. I gave it 1.5. The first one, I'm like, okay, maybe it starts off slow, setting up
I
characters.
gave it I gave it
Fair.
two and I was out.
Yeah, but halfway through the second, I'm like, I was just so disinterested. It's just the
Yeah.
stories. It's a German show, which is fine, right? There've been some really good German shows
No, I
in the
don't care if
past.
it's international, but I mean
Yeah,
Netflix. If we're gonna bring, and obviously with the writer strike, so in a few months, maybe 6 to 12 months, there's gonna be a shortage of shows, and so they're gonna have to go rely on international, and they better do a better job than this. That's all I'm saying.
oh no, there's been way better shows than this. This is just it's mediocre is being nice to the show.
Yes.
It's just dull and boring. It's just
Yeah.
the story itself didn't capture anything the characters want to get excited about. Yeah, and I was bored. I was falling. I was literally like almost falling asleep, and that's just not a good sign.
Mm.
And then this was the middle of the day. It's not like it was like a midnight watching this. It was like 2 in the afternoon. Like I can't. So I'm off the show.
Out.
It's a high unrecommendation on all that. Netflix does better than this. Even for the middle of the road shows, they're still kind of entertaining, pretty cool. This is just not one of them.
Mm.
This is not one of them at all. So it's not a good showing of what it all costs. This next
Mm.
one, I Am Virgo on Amazon Prime. About 8 episodes, 30 minutes a pop, more or less. Very unique premise about a young boy who is about 13 feet tall. Well, he's 18 or 19 years old, and his whole life, then his parents just pretty much kept him at home for obvious reasons. And now he finally has the opportunity to kind of get out and finally experience life in the world and everything, right? Love, friendship, etc., etc. And then things get really weird. The show it deals with a lot of oddities, whether it be fast moving people or very, very tiny people. And there's weird Walter Goggins, who I love, playing this pseudo superhero, and it's very political. And it's all over the place. Doesn't mean it's not good. But that being said, Chewy, I'll let you take lead on this. What you think about this one?
I don't know what to think. This is just so odd. I finished 2 episodes, and it's just such a weird show. I just don't want what to feel. I really don't. I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah,
It's not because it's like, oh, it's so good. I have no words. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if I like this or not.
yeah. I'm God, man, I'm in. I think I'm in. I'm watching. I seen four of them because as I say, it was a very light week. I was off one show. I was like, this will be one of the only shows left for me to watch this week, right? For the most part. It's just and I like weird, different kind of show. You're talking about Mrs. Davis, right? That was definitely a
Hmm.
unique and interesting show, but that one had a
But that
more
was cohesive compared to this.
right. It's a more focused story. This one is just all over the place, and there's some cool stuff in there. Like, oh, that's interesting, but I'm like, it's just like odd for the sake of just of being odd, right? With no real purpose, and I think actually I'm on fifth episode, and I'm in, and I finally get an idea of what's happening, but it shouldn't take 5 episodes to get there, kind of thing. It's odd. I honestly don't know if I can recommend it. I really, if you want to see something interesting and strange and unique, absolutely give it a shot. Right? It's the premise of a 13-foot kid. It's wild as it is, right? But they,
I
you know,
mean, when she's holding the baby in the first episode, I was
yeah,
like, oh my
baby's like
god,
it's like a goat.
I know, dude.
It's odd. It really is. I'll finish watching because I'm just curious. But it's more for the appreciation. I like the things that are different. I'm fine with that, right? So I'll keep watching for the sake of it. I will say though, it has a really cool title card intro, much like we see. Actually, some shows doing it now. Well, another show that did it, but things like Umbrella Academy or even Football did
Mhm.
it too, where they give you the title card, mix it in with organically through something that's going on with the story. They do a really good job with that as well. Really cool stuff. As here I am Virgo, but yeah, it's odd. It's a weird show. I don't know how to describe it, what to call it. I really don't. It is what it is. But if you want something
No
different,
idea.
you want something odd and unique, watch the first
Go for
couple,
it.
and maybe it grabs you. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm recommending it per se, but it's odd. This last one's all YouTube. I don't see this show, and this is Swagger on Apple Plus, dropping season 2 with O'Shea Jackson, of
Oh
course.
shit.
Ice Cube's kid. Love me some Ice Cube. This is kind of like not a sports show per se, but I guess he's a coach or something. Chewy,
No,
what is it exactly, Swagger?
no, it is. It is. I mean, so season one. So this is involves the basketball world, right? The undergraduate world, and AAU. These private teams and whatnot. And so we have highly rated players in the Philly, DC area, and it focuses on one character, right? Who's eighth grader, has math skills, probably one of the top players in the country, and so everyone is dealing with it. It focuses on him and the pressure to succeed and to achieve his dream, right? It's him and his mom, and he gets into this team. They succeed. Season two, it takes a very interesting approach. This does a massive jump. It does a 3 year, basically almost a 4 year jump,
Oh
right?
wow.
So for season one, he's an eighth grader, almost ready, getting ready, preparing for high school ball. Joins one of his teams that's end up being called Swagger, and they have the ups and downs and deal with life and different things and the pressures of being an elite competition, elite athletes, right? Season two kind of brings us to the summer before he's a senior, right? High school. So he's coming off a state championship. It's got some of the players that were together in this team. And this team, some of his rivals were former players on the other teams. And the the coach leaves. And so the Osei Jackson character is brought back to coach the high school team in his senior year and help him get to the next level, right? Because they're already talking about NBA and doing the one and done deal and all that kind of stuff. So very interesting show, very interesting, realistic take on high school and going into college athletics and even into the NBA for a basketball perspective. But like yeah, at the end of the show has to be entertaining. You have to care about the characters, and it makes you care about these individuals and the struggles they go through to achieve, essentially trying to achieve greatness.
Okay, yeah. So
And
it's just,
and
but would
and
you
and
say
it
that?
has
Oh,
it
go ahead.
has Orlando Jones, so he's eating again.
Oh wow, Orlando Jones. Haven't heard that name in a while.
I heard that name since American
Yeah,
Gods.
maybe. I'm
So
sure he's done something else, but yeah,
he was probably the best part of American Gods, if
I would
but
agree.
to be quite
Yeah,
honest.
I totally agree with that. Which has had a really good first season and just kind of
Mm, yeah,
tumbled down
withered
the.
away.
Yeah, it was really bad. Is this more like you say this is filler, or this is like something you probably should check
No,
out?
no, I enjoy it,
Okay,
right? I mean, from a basketball perspective, but
okay.
also from a drama, right? Because it's taking a slice of life and put it on the screen to
Okay.
see what we typically don't see, right, or understand,
Mm-hmm.
this piece of society and elite trying to get to that elite level and what it takes, right, and the struggles they go through because it deals with a lot of things, right. It deals with racism issues. It deals with corporate pressure, right, and sponsorships and money that's involved in
Of
some of these
course.
programs, right. And also there's one subplot that deals with sexual abuse, from coach to player type of
Oh, okay.
situation. So, like I said, it brings a lot of heavy topics, but does it in a way that it kind of weaves it all together into a cohesive
I mean, it's
story.
Apple Plus, and I know they've had their issues lately. I've had their issues with them in terms of quality. They usually do pretty well for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. So, okay, fair enough. And that's all for this week. Like I said, not a big week. It wasn't a great week of TV. This is a great catch up week or whatever, catch your breath anyway. But this week is big. Let's talk about this. What's coming up next week there, Chewy. And I'll mention my bone that I have to pick in a minute.
Here we go.
But let's start with on Netflix. First out of the gate is I'm really looking forward to this. And it's Muscles and Mayhem,
Ooh,
the
yeah.
unauthorized story of the American
I
Gladiators.
don't know if it's unauthorized because all the guys are interviewing.
But
So,
which is funny, yeah. Cause I remember when this was coming out, I'm like, because I saw a commercial for it, but it was one on ESPN's doing a 30 for 30 on this one, on
mm,
the American Gladiators. I'm like, wait, there's two of them. Okay, fine. And it's like Netflix is jumping the gun. Great, but yeah, all the Gladiators back in the '90s, mid '90s. I don't know when it was.
Nitro,
Nitro and
Gemini, and
Malibu,
Turbo
stupid
of
Malibu,
Malibu.
the golden locks. Um, he was the biggest gladiator, but the most worthless gladiator, if memory serves. But yeah, a very cool show, kind of a reality physical competition show. Yeah, so there's some interesting stories in there. I'm excited to see that. I think it's a limited series, limited docu series, if I'm
Mhm,
not mistaken,
mhm.
on the 28th. Same day, Hijack, starring Idris Elba, who I'm a big fan of. Is an Apple Plus show about a plane getting hijacked, and he's there, and he has to save the day, right, kind of thing. I am curious because I thought this was maybe a movie.
That's what I thought. No, this is a limited
It's
series.
limited series,
So,
which is odd because I don't see six, I don't know, whatever episodes, six
what
episodes
this could be
on the hijack. I don't know.
a 24 type of situation. I mean,
Maybe I'm
that's what I
curious.
heard somewhere. It had like a real time feel to it. So, okay,
Okay.
okay, well then,
Okay, yeah,
let's
if they
see.
can make it
Yeah.
work, because this is a premise. This is a 2 hour premise, right? At best, right? It hijacked the plane. He saves it. Plane lands. Everybody wins, right? Stretch that out over 6 episodes or whatever long it is. It's concerning, but I love Idris Elba and it is Apple, so maybe hopefully they prove me wrong. The 28th as well. Delete, a Korean series. With I brought it up because Korean show can go really good, really bad. This one,
What is it called?
it's called Delete.
Oh man, yeah, I saw that.
And
Right.
but I guess there's not say a couple, but whatever, a couple who are having a questionable relationship, morally anyway, and I guess to hide their tracks, they discover a device, in this case a phone, which could literally delete someone from existence, and then kind of contemplating why they're using it, how come it's being, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting premise. So okay, I'll give it a shot. On the 29th, this is where the fun begins, really. Of course, we have The Witcher on Netflix, season 3. Henry Cavill's last season. This might as well be the last season of The Witcher, as far as I'm concerned.
Part one.
Part was right, part one. Yeah, Netflix is going to do this in a couple of shows, and we've seen it before, like with Stranger Things, where they're doing
Mhm.
releasing part one this week, and then part two in July.
That's correct. Yes.
Towards the end of July. I'm not sure how many episodes will be in this first
Split
part
between
of
the
the
two.
season.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So good show. I've really liked this show a lot. It's one of the Netflix better shows. Great fantasy show. Henry Cavill's the man. So yeah. So again, for me, it's the last season. And
Mhm.
then we come to Max.
Ah,
Max, which I have a big gripe here. This is my gripe because this is
okay, here we
a
go.
slap in the face of one of their best shows, one of my favorite shows. That's of course Warrior season 3 dropping. A show you and I've been talking the last couple of weeks. Y'all gotta watch Warrior. It's dope. It's so good. Great action show. No doubt. Takes place in the before the turn of the 20th century. With the Asian community in San Francisco and all that, and the Irish groups, and all trying to deal with everyone's going against the man, right? The white people. We know you do the man. Written by, I think, a story by Bruce Lee. Like he wrote this long time ago.
Yeah, based on the writings of Bruce
Yeah,
Lee,
exactly. Yeah,
correct.
it's something he was developing back in the day. But
Mhm.
fantastic show. But this is the lack of respect, the egregious
Oh, okay.
disrespect to the show by Max. Because listen, I said it before. Usually Mondays and Thursday releases are for their mid-level okay shows. Sundays is their marquee night. This show should be on a Sunday night, the marquee show. They have the Idol on. I mean, come on, right? You know what I'm saying? Which is not a good show.
No, it's not.
The prime 9 o'clock HBO is their slot, right? That's their big guns. This show should be on Sunday night. You put it on Thursday. I don't get it. I really don't. It's a great show, and I think shows and Sundays get more play, get more marketing behind it, right? You know,
Mhm.
they market the shit of the Sunday shows without question, right? So this I got a problem with that, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree
You see, I
100%.
told
I
you.
don't
You see what
understand
I'm
why
saying?
this was not released, put up at the Sunday marquee because we've been waiting. You know, this is
Ex-
one of the shows like obviously it's a Cinemax original,
mhm.
right?
Sure,
Maybe that has something to do with it.
doesn't matter.
They put it on HBO Max as they acquired it. They slapped it in there. They shoved it in there, and all of a sudden it picked up steam. Everyone was jumping on the Warrior family because they were we didn't know if it was going to get renewed. And they dropped the second season. The Cinemax said it had been canceled or whatever. Was it going to come back there? And they put it on HBO. And then it kind of just everyone started picking it up and started gaining steam. And Max saw it had something there. And then but this is like pre-COVID. And all of a sudden, COVID hit and it just threw everything into uncertainty. They renewed it finally, and I'm shocked that they didn't put this as okay. But, this is a show we put some money behind. We're committed to it, and we get whatever. I'm still gonna watch. I'm gonna love every episode, every minute. I lost your audio. I can't hear you. And but there you go. But nope, nope. I still can't hear you. There. Okay. Nope. Mm-mm. I can't hear nothing. We got technical issues. Whoops. Well, they try to resolve that. So yeah, shocking. I agree 100% with that picking up
There we go.
on that. But I should have been on Sundays, but I'm still gonna take it on Thursdays, and hopefully for that 8 to 10 weeks, enjoy the shit out of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Can you hear me okay, Chewy?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The technical difficulties. Yeah, like yeah, this is a must-watch show. We don't say that very often on here, right? As far as like this is a show
Hey,
y'all
maybe
need
this
to
will
watch.
make Thursday the marquee.
Maybe as far as I'm concerned, it is the marquee night because this is a show I've been waiting for a long time. I expected to look at the date and say, oh, the whenever day Sunday, I think is the first, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I expected to see, oh, Sunday night, here we go. Now it's Thursday, so whatever. Something to watch on Thursday, so I can't complain too much. But it's a show y'all need to watch for sure. And the
Mm-hmm.
last one, speaking of final seasons, is a final season for Jack Ryan, season four,
Mm-hmm.
according
The final mission.
John Krasinski, of course. Reprising the role as Jack Ryan. A good show. This is a nice, good, typical, solid kind of spy thriller, right? It's not gonna blow you away, but it's a good watch. It's entertaining, very 24-ish kind of style, particularly early on. But it's good. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope they, like I said, they stick the landing for the most part. But that's a cool show. I've enjoyed that a lot. So I guess a lot of good things, lot of big shows next week. So we'll definitely jump on these, on these. And again, the Warrior, y'all need to go back and watch season 1 and 2. I'll just tell you, it's that good. It's phenomenal.
Season
It's
two,
fantastic.
1 and 2.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the first two seasons, season 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah,
Before season 3, it's a weekly release on HBO, so there's plenty of time to catch
yes,
up and kind of go back and all that.
yeah.
But that being said, big week. Well, I'm excited to talk about those. And as always, we appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.